Hello, everyone. My name is Ivan Estrada. I am a transformational speaker and also real estate entrepreneur out here in Los Angeles. And I have a guest who I absolutely adore. I've known Cynthia Ruiz now for, I want to say, close to 20 years. I don't know, that ages me. I'm 42. I think we met when I was like 20, 21 through a mutual friend. And this woman is an incredible best-selling author, transformational speaker, philanthropist. She does so much for the community. And also, I want to also, one of my spiritual mentors. And so I wanted to introduce Cynthia and here today. So how are you, Cynthia?
I am blessed and grateful. And when I say I'm blessed and grateful, I mean it. And the more grateful I stay, the more blessings I receive. The more blessings I receive, the more I have to be grateful for. So today we're going to talk about the power of gratitude. Ivan.
One of my favorite things. I mean, at the end of the day, I think, love, very powerful, right? I think that's probably one of the most powerful energies in the world. But then there's gratitude, right? And I feel like gratitude is that thing that I feel like it kind of, when I look at DNA, it's kind of, I feel like gratitude and love are kind of doing this, just like the DNA that runs through our veins. And so I wanted to have this discussion with you, Cynthia, about gratitude because you are definitely one of the most grateful people that I know. Every time I talk to you, every time I say hi out in the world, on the phone, through text, it's never like, well, I'm okay, or oh, it was a kind of a crappy day. I mean, we hear that day in and day out. It's always like grateful to be alive, very grateful and full of love. I mean, it's always this positive, beautiful energy. How do you do it, Cynthia? How do you do it?
Well, I practice. I mean, so I start my day with my gratitude practice. And I like to say gratitude is the lens that I look through to see the world and interact with the world. Now, don't be confused. It doesn't mean that I don't have challenges in my life. Absolutely. Everybody has challenges from losing loved ones to losing jobs to going through a divorce. I mean, there's all kinds of life stuff. But when you stay in that gratitude, it helps you realize when you have challenges. I ask myself, what was a lesson I was supposed to learn? So instead of saying, oh, I'm the victim, poor me, it happened to me, I say, okay, I'm grateful for that experience. What was I supposed to learn? So that's how I do it. How do you do it? Because you're very positive and grateful all the time.
So I think for me is meditation has been a huge component of my gratitude. I think it's allowed me to see a different side of things because I think, just genetically speaking, also growing up, I would say a very anxious human being. Sometimes I would look at why certain things wouldn't work out, or why I wasn't going to get something, or why was I not going to be chosen for Little League in school, or, instead of thinking, no, there's a ton of reasons why I feel like I should be chosen, or there's a ton of reasons why I'm definitely going to get into USC, so many different things. And through meditation, it's just given me the opportunity to pause and to look at all the incredible blessings that I have. Through meditation, I sometimes even get visions of my family and my pets and relatives and friends. And it's like a constant reminder of how grateful I am for, not the things that I have, but also, most importantly, the person that I have become over the last couple of years. So I think, I mean, literally, we could probably talk about this for hours and hours and on end. I mean, we're going to keep it to 15 minutes, but meditation, Cynthia, I mean, when I don't meditate, I could tell. I can definitely tell because my brain kind of hijacks itself and sometimes goes a little south.
Well, my favorite thing about gratitude, it makes me feel good because we know we're all energy. Einstein tells us we're all energy. And when you're operating in a field of gratitude, that's a higher vibrational level. If you're ungrateful and you're angry and you're filled with hate, That's a lower vibrational level. And
Mhm.
guess what? Like attracts like. Like. Like, like attracts like. So when you're operating that higher vibrational level of gratitude, guess what? The universe gives you more things to be grateful for. So yes, I like gratitude, but it feels good to me. And so that's why I look through the lens of gratitude each and every day.
And it's a learned thing, right, Cynthia? I think it's for some of you, and including myself in my teens and in my 20s, I would just think, well, this is just how I am, right? Yeah, yeah. We're all a certain way, but it's with gratitude for me personally, and I'm sure with you as well, Cynthia. I had to learn it. I had to learn how to be grateful. It was like a muscle that I had to learn how to use and continue to use, just like exercise. You want a great body? Great. It's a combination of things. Exercise is a big component of it. And if you want to keep a great body and health, then you keep going to the gym, working out that muscle over and over and over again. And same thing with gratitude. It's like one of those constant things that when days aren't going great, I have to remind myself and stop myself when my brain goes in a different direction and saying, hey, wait, don't go there. A lot of things to be grateful for. And, I have a picture on my wall that I actually, that I look at when I want to be grateful. I have a list on my phone that I sometimes will read out loud to myself to remind myself of what I'm grateful. It's constant work is what I want to say.
But I like the way you talk about it because it's a choice. You
Mhm.
know,
Choice.
happiness is a choice. Gratitude is a choice. I remember one time in my career, not that long ago, I was an executive at the Port of Los Angeles, making $250,000 a year. I loved my job. I loved everything about it. And in a split second, we had a new executive director. I was in the number two. There was four of us in the number two. The number one changed out, so he came in, and in like a split second, he's like, "You're all gone." And I'm like, "Okay." It took me a second to process. And so it was done a very unprofessional way. And so he called me in, said, "You're out of here." And by the time I was just barely walking back to my office, he had people packing up my stuff, took my name off the parking space and all this other stuff. So I had to sit there for a second, and people are coming, "Aren't you mad?" And I said, "No." And they're like, "You're not mad?" I said, "No, I'm grateful for the time I had here, and I'm grateful for the experience. I blessed this experience, and I'm gone." And people are like, "No, you should be mad. You should." I said, what is anger? What is that going to do for me? It's going to affect my mental health, and it's not going to change anything. So I stayed grateful even in times of, challenging times, and everything worked out. And so I, ended up taking an early retirement from the city. And instead of being stuck in traffic, because from my house to the port every day, it was traffic all the way. So I used that time to go hiking. So I took care of myself. So the point is, we're all going to have challenges. And if you stay grateful, even during the challenges, it's going to give you a different perspective and it's going to make you happier.
100%. 100%. And in these times of, uncertainty, Cynthia, it's sometimes for certain people hard to wake up. They go straight to their phones, they turn on their TVs, and people are like, well, why be grateful? Like, things around us, feel like they're kind of falling apart. Like, you know, what would be your best advice to that person who is having a hard time being grateful right now?
Well, it's about perspective, right? And so, what I like to say, and I learned from my native indigenous ways, is that everything runs in cycles. If you look at nature, we know there's seasons, we know there's day and night, we know that there's absolutes. So, absolutely, things run in cycle. And what we're going through today in the world is not going to last forever. Look at history. History repeats itself, but it runs in cycles. So if you have that perspective, step back and say, things are out of control or whatever. We're at war, the economy, the gas prices are high. You have to step back and say, okay, this is not going to last forever. So the lesson is not everything's going to last forever, which means the good times are not going to last forever and the bad times. So when you're having the good times, cherish them. And the bad times, it's like a storm. The day after the storm, it rains really hard. The next day, it's beautiful. And so know that, we're going to get to a point that it's going to be beautiful again. But we just have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves to get through the storm and get to that other side, that next beautiful day.
And I love what you said, Cynthia, about perspective, right? Because this can be used on all different sorts of portions of your life, is always giving yourself some perspective because there's always another side, right? And finding that gift in the other side is key. And the thing that I wanted to mention, which, I heard this from a mentor of mine, is that even in the darkest of times, there's always a blessing somewhere in there. Like, there's always a reason for it. And there's like the blessing that you will know about either now or later. It could be a year or 2 years, 3 years. You might not even know. You might never even see the blessing, right? Because but just know that there's a reason for the motions of everything that's going on. And as long as you could be grateful and say, look, I may not feel, you know, let's say some people don't feel safe or don't feel like certain things should be happening, but at the same time, just know that they're like, but there's a blessing here. And as long as you can be in acceptance of that, then you can find gratitude for the things that really do matter, for the things that you do have in your life, your family, your friends, your pets, your partners, your kids, your nephews, your nieces, your neighbors. I mean, a whole list of things that you should be grateful for, where you can say, okay, I'm going to put my blinders on and I'm just going to focus and be grateful for the things that I do have and not the stuff that's out here, the stuff that I don't have, or the stuff that I think is coming down the way because of the things that are going on out there in the world.
Because being in the victim state is very unempowering. So the days or times in my life when I have felt down because of circumstances, I get out of myself and go be of service. Go feed the homeless. Go mentor the youth. Go tutor the youth. Go, do something that's bettering everyone else instead of feeling sorry for yourself, and take your power back that way. So being of service is the best way for me to uplift myself, because not only am I helping somebody, but then I feel good too.
100%, 100%. And so we're reaching that 15-minute point where we just kind of wanted this to be like a 15-minute recharge of gratitude and a reminder. Cynthia, what's one thing that you would, I guess, one thing that you want people to walk away with these 15 minutes? And then also, how can people reach you?
So the power of gratitude takes practice. So practice gratitude every day. You can visit me at my website, cynthiamruiz.com. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and I love connecting people because I am here to be of service.
Amazing. And my tip would be, I mean, you kind of said it, Cynthia, is having perspective, right? I think having perspective is key because that's what's going to really help you focus on what you have in front of you, what you should focus on and be grateful for. Like I mentioned, it could be a family, friend, your partner, your dog, and really kind of and be grateful for that because a lot of us, like you said, Cynthia, at the beginning, some of us like don't even have people out there that don't even have a bed to sleep on. So be grateful for your life and for everything that you have, all the blessings, and how people can reach me. I have my website, ivanastrada.com, and also on social media, Ivan Estrada Properties for the real estate stuff, but Live with Purpose by Ivan on TikTok for all of my tips on how to live a beautiful, grateful life.
And so, Ivan, I just want to say that I'm so grateful for you, and I love you for showing up in the world as a positive energy.
And I appreciate you for being in my life, for being one of my mentors and someone that I look up to. And I hope that just we continue to build this incredible community and platform. And I hope all of you that are joining us today that you got a little something to really help you be grateful for the things that you have in your life.